Hey Star Fam, our Atlanta girls are back and boy have they been missed. They have been missed. But before we get into it, I just wanted to give a shout out to IHeartPapercuts. I just went to my P.O. box and when I opened my P.O. box, I had these beautiful gifts from IHeartPapercuts, a NikkiNicoleStar TV subscriber and a very talented individual. I will put their website in the description box. But I just wanted to give a shout out to them because this was, you know, so beautiful. You're so freaking talented. But thank you so much. Thank you for all of these beautiful gifts. There are stickers, there are postcards, just so many beautiful gifts in there from iHeart Productions. I will tag their website again in the description box below. But please go and support our Star Fam over at iHeartPapercuts, especially for Juneteenth, like, right? Aren't we trying to buy black owned for Juneteenth? iHeartPapercuts is where it's at. Thank you so much, iHeartPapercuts. This is so beautiful. I absolutely love it. So talented. I'm definitely going to, this one right here, I don't know. A Tribe Called Quest, I love it. I don't know if I'm ever going to use it. I don't know. It's so beautiful. I might just put it in my room. But thank you again. Thank you all in the Star Family community for all your beautiful gifts. Thank you for sharing your talent with me. It means the world. Now let's get into this review. The Real Housewives of Atlanta is late on purpose, not just because of COVID, Covisha. But the reason why it's late is because I was absolutely nervous. I was absolutely nervous. It just has not been getting great reviews on this spectrum, you know, YouTube, or also like on Twitter where I stay a lot. Like a lot of people have, specifically Alabaster housewife pages, have been dragging it. And you know, you expect that all the time. But I was just a little nervous because with the dragation, there wasn't a lot of praise. So I was nervous and I kind of took my time to watch it because I just didn't want to be disappointed because I waited for them, we all waited for them to get it for so long. It was just like, we need this. And then seeing that, you know, people, or it seemed as if people were not watching, I was just like, why not? Like, Atlanta is that girl. Even when Atlanta isn't that girl, she's still that girl. So why aren't people watching? And so I binge watched the last, 4 episodes. And I just want to say, please put some respect on Atlanta's name because I watched it and I'm just like, what is going on? I don't see any issues. The only thing that I see what's happening here is that probably the fan base of the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills is trying to take this show down so that they could have the #1 spot. But I just do not feel like there's any housewife show that can take the #1 spot from Atlanta because Atlanta has been that girl for a damn decade, to be quite honest with you. If we're counting up how they have ranked on Bravo, they've been that girl for a decade or so. So it's like, you really can't take their crown. Just let these women win and entertain us. It shouldn't be anything more than that. But I was nervous, and forgive me, Atlanta, for ever doubting you. You still delivered. So Cherie is back, and you guys know that I'm excited about that. The reason why I was always campaigning for her to come back on the show was because every housewife show needs a bone carrier. Every reality TV show with an ensemble cast needs a bone carrier, and I think she does that so well. So I was glad to have her back. I do have to be honest, I'm a bit disappointed in her storyline. This storyline where she's waiting for this man to get out of prison, and it's starting to seem like he's not treating her right, and I just wanted better for her, right? Because she's such an iconic housewife. I just would have wanted a better storyline for her. You know, she's waiting for this man to get out of prison. Listen, you know that I don't encourage any woman to wait for any man to get out of prison, especially a Philadelphia scammer. But Cherie did it. And it seems like this guy is like going to be playing her on the show, and I'm just not here for it. Outside of her building the chateau, I don't think she has anything else to offer, which is probably why she's making this guy, you know, the center of her storyline. But I would just be fine with her just being a bone carrier because she's spectacular in that role. So I wanted to talk about 2 more things before I get into this week's review. Ralph and Drew. From what I have seen thus far, I think that Ralph and Drew are faking drama for the show. I have no problem with that. I just feel like the way that they are speaking about their marriage, how they're putting everything out on the table, I feel like their marriage is the storyline, and I think that's all they pretty much have to offer. Not a bad thing. Also not mad with them faking, you you know, relationship, marital problems, drama. Because to be quite honest with you, I'd rather it be fake than this be your whole life falling apart and we're watching your husband just make a clown of you on national TV. I'd rather you be in on the joke so that you both can enjoy the check. Speaking of checks, I feel like if New Jersey are paying the men, Atlanta needs to pay the men as well, because we're getting a lot of the men this season. So I'm hoping the men are getting at least some kind of cut of this money. Lastly, Kenya, like Marlo said, please don't bring your white friends around who do not know how these ladies or this show gets down. Because that Karen in a baby doll dress really took last week's episode down 2 notches. Don't bring her back. Don't bring her back. That moment that she wanted to have on this black show, already knowing that we've been dealing with issues with white housewives, treating these black housewives poorly, that was not a good look. Don't ever bring her back. Now let's talk about what happened on the show this week. Please forgive me. Where are my manners? I didn't give you guys a proper introduction. Let me do it now. Legs and hips and body. Let's get them, girls. Put some respect on Candy's pen. People were making fun of this woman. Now she's in the studio doing a remix. Now she has a viral sound on TikTok, and I'm telling you guys right now, my sister works in the music industry. Viral TikTok songs or sounds or whatever, that is what these music companies are looking for. That is why so many of your artists are on TikTok saying, please interact with this song, because my record label wants me to do it. Like my label, the company I'm signed to, they want me to put my song on TikTok, and they want it to go viral. Candy's song went viral because, you know, at first people were lightly, you know, roasting the song. We're black, we do that, it is what it is, it's all in love. But now the song actually took off, and she is going to be paid handsomely from this song, especially with the remix. And that is why Miss Candy Burris Johnson, what's Todd's last name? Todd Johnson? Miss Candy Burris Todd. That is why she is who she is, and that is why she's so decorated, by way of awards, and that is why she's so financially successful. Because I remember on TikTok, people were saying, this can't be the same lady that wrote Bills, Bills, Bills. Yes, it is, because look what happened. The girl knows what she's doing. Smart. Bravissimo, Candy. Me and my mama be singing the hell out of that song. Legs and hips and body. Doing too much. Let's get them, girls. Man, I wish I was on live with you guys right now. But I just don't have it in me. I really, really don't. And if you don't know why I'm doing these videos like this, it's because I can take time, I can take breaks, and I can come back. Lung capacity is not where it was, but it's still not where it used to be, where I'm trying to get to, where I was before COVID. So it has improved tremendously, but I just don't think that I'm there yet to be on live for like an hour. This I can do because I can break this up and I can come back, you know, back and forth when I can finish it all properly. And also, thank you guys for interacting with my videos that I'm putting up. I know we all prefer the lives. Hell, I prefer the lives. But, you know, considering the situation, this is what we have to do for right now. But I thank you all for interacting with those videos. Now, let's talk about why Marlo was so great for this freaking show. Because I feel like Marlo has properly studied what the fans want from the Real Housewives of Atlanta. And I think she's delivering, right? She's delivering fashion. She's delivering, you know, reads. She's delivering storyline, kind of, sort of, maybe. The storyline is a little shaky, but I think she's studied, she's learned, she's trained, she's done the work. And this is why she's such a joy to watch on this show, because we open up with Marlo and her contractor just talking about what they're going to do with her home. And Sheree walks up. Forgive me for calling Sheree Sheree. I mix it up sometimes because I'm thinking about Sheree, who's going to be on the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, and I'm anxiously waiting her debut. Anyway, so Kenya and Sheree show up, and Marlo's talking to her contractor. She's like, oh, here go two girls who spent damn near 20 years trying to build their home. I invited them over to see if they have some suggestions for me since it took them so damn long to build their own home. Hey, ladies. Like, so good. So good. Like, this is what we want. And she delivered so flawlessly. And that is why I'm glad that she's on the show. I do think that she's struggling a lot with finding her place or feeling acceptance and approvals from the ladies. And to that I say, Marlo, you signed your contract. You got your peach. You don't have to prove anything to the ladies. You've proved it to the people who signed your checks that you are worthy enough to be in this position. So stop fighting, because I feel like for the last episodes that I've watched, I feel like she's been fighting to be accepted by the ladies as no longer a friend of, but as a full-on lead cast member as well with the rest of them. And I'm just like, that's not what we watch you for, right? We don't need you fighting for your spot. You got it. You're here. Now, what can you show us outside of what you showed us from being a friend of the show? And I think she desires this acceptance the most from Kenya, which is so weird because all these two do is fight. So it's weird that she's fighting the most for acceptance from Kenya, somebody who's been her enemy from jump. Since we're here, Marlo talking about Sheree and Kenya or whatever, taking forever to build their homes or whatever. I hope that she's not doing the same thing that Sheree was doing, which was, we got to be honest, Sheree, I'm glad you're on the show, but let's be real, you were building your home for a storyline, and then you got cut from the show and it took a lot longer than you anticipated. So I hope that Marlo isn't falling into that same thing, right? Of let me build this fabulous home as my storyline, one of the storylines that I could, pimp throughout the show. I hope that you're not doing that, because then you're going to put yourself in the same situation that Sheree was in, and she was dragged for it on and off the season. Please do not go broke trying to let us know that you got money on this show. We already believe that you got it. Don't go broke trying to let us know that you have more than you actually have. Stay woke, because that Bravo check don't cover incidentals. Let's talk about a storyline that I hope dies early for Kandi and Todd, because I just don't see this going anywhere positive. So Kandi and Todd have been fighting the past couple of episodes, lightly getting into disagreements the past couple of episodes, because Todd is starting to have his own assets, his productions, his projects, his condo in Jersey, things outside of Kandi, things that are specifically Todd Burris. What is his last name? Because I wanted to say Todd Rucker, but then I said Burris. Did he change his last name to Burris? What is this man's last name? Todd Rucker? Todd Roker? Todd Tucker. Is it Todd Tucker? I think it's Todd Tucker. Anyway, Kandi and Todd Tucker. The Burrises are talking about the fact that, Kandi is displeased that he has things outside of her. I think it's actually very smart for him to have things outside of her. And even Todd has calmly mentioned that this home is in your name. All these projects that you had before me are in your name. You still have some projects that you got with me that are solely in your name and all for you. You are the only person who can profit that. You share those profits with me, but this is all about you. So I think it's smart that he, as somebody who is not, I won't say breadwinner, but just does not make as much money as his partner, I think it's smart for him to have some things outside of her to build his wealth outside of her, because she was able to do that. So why is it a problem for him to do that, especially when they still have projects together? And especially in this day and age, for a man's ego, I think he's going to need that. He's going to need some money separate of you. He's going to need to feel like he is also bringing in a lot of coin, because the world knows you as this wealthy person. So I think it's smart. I don't think it's damaging anybody. Kandi, you are coming off looking a little greedy, wanting to get in on things that he is now acquiring outside of you, when you have already acquired so much outside of him, and now you're acquiring things with him. I also think it's smart for this couple to start to work separately, because they work together on so much outside of their marriage. So it's nice to give each other a little breather, and it's nice to work on things independently so you can thrive in that and just let your partner support you from the sidelines, right? I think that's a healthy relationship, and I'm hoping that Kandi and Todd are playing into this, and that it's not really how she feels. I kind of think it isn't, just like I think it's not the same with Ralph and Drew. I think they're playing into what their issues are. Either they've had these issues and they were able to move past them, so they're reenacting, or this is something just completely made up. And I hope for both of these couples, it's one or the other. Just because the things you say and do on camera, on this show that is broadcasted to the world, you can't take back. And that will absolutely affect a relationship in a negative, whatever way. So it's just like, I wouldn't play with my marriage like that. So I hope you're reenacting or you're faking this for the show. I will say, even fiction can do some damage to a real life situation. So for the both of y'all, stay woke. Since I brought up Drew and Ralph, let's get into it. Listen, I am the last one to defend a man, especially a man like Ralph. Can we be real? Like, he is the child Kevin Samuels left behind. Ralph and Drew are still in a weird place because Ralph planned this romantic dinner for Drew, and they got into a little, little back and forth, right? Because Drew was like, I don't want us to sit down and act like everything is cool when it's very obvious that we have problems. I understand where she was coming from, but Ralph didn't want to have that conversation. He just wanted to have a romantic night with her. So these two are going back and forth, and then Drew says that he is a maniac, right? Not only does she says that Ralph is a maniac or acting like a maniac, she clarifies it and says, well, I meant homicidal maniac. How was he supposed to react to that, right? Words hurt as hard as a punch. That's why I keep on trying to tell people. I'm like, you can say violence is not the answer, and just because somebody says something, it shouldn't matter because words don't matter like that. Words matter, just like Black lives. Words matter. So when you say things to people, although you are not inflicting any kind of physical pain, you are inflicting emotional, mental, spiritual pain. You're inflicting pain on them that cuts very deep. So for Ralph to hear his wife say that he is a maniac, a homicidal maniac, hear those words come out of her mouth to him, but now you're doing it on camera. And now you two know about the show and you guys know how it works. So now this is something the world is going to hear about him. So he started to feel a certain sort of way about that. And these two just never were able to come to a conclusion that they both just go too far. Right? I think they spend a lot of time trying to inflict some kind of pain on the other, that they don't sit with their real issues and just try to figure it out in a way that these two will not cause any more damage that their words have already caused. So I said all that to say, Drew, you shouldn't have said that about your husband. Because we all know that you don't feel that way. You were just trying to get under his skin because you were upset with him. Understandable, but you have to talk to your husband a different way. You know what I mean? If you have a critique of him, critique him, with your words laced with honey. Give him a critique to build him up, not tear him down. And I could say the same thing to Ralph concerning Drew. They both have a really difficult problem with how they communicate to each other, because their words are just argument ending, right? And not relationship building. They fight with each other like they want this to end. But if you don't want it to end, you know how and what to say to a person when you want to prolong the relationship. You know how to get your point across. We all have had relationships where it's just like, oh, this one I can throw away, but this one I want to keep. So you talk to this one a little differently than you talk to this one. Y'all too big not to know this. Candy's invite. Why was that your choice of an invite? Like, especially for a play that is about the emotional traumas of Black men, right? The trials and tribulations of Black men. Why was this your way to invite people to this play about this very difficult subject, which is just Black male life in America? That's going to be very emotional, not some kind of sex siren play on Broadway. Why was this your way of inviting people? It was so weird. It was so weird. I think it would have been better for her to just have a little bedroom candy event at her home and invite people that way. Because not only did you send like these fully naked with just a bit of pasties, people over to people's homes and residential developments, like residential areas and developments where the school bus is going to come down the street at any moment. You're sending these people to people's homes and giving them bedroom candy and covering it with, oh, this is an invite to this play. Is it really, or is it just a way to advertise your product? I have no problem with that. There's just a better way to do it. Let me tell you something. Those ladies are better than me. I would have never opened my door. First of all, I wouldn't have allowed security to let them people in. Because the way y'all all flaunt that y'all are all so wealthy and y'all that girl and y'all got all this money on these shows, which is, to be quite honest with you, a requirement as a housewife. But the way you flaunt it, I hope your homes are not drive-byable. I hope you all live in gated communities with security. Because baby, I wouldn't let them get past security. I would have been like, I don't know them people. I have absolutely no idea who they are. Absolutely not. They got on pasties. Thongs and whips? Absolutely not. I don't want them coming up to my property. I have neighbors. Like, absolutely not. I just don't understand why that was her way of inviting people to her show. And why are you giving your friends vibrating panties, Candy? That you want them to wear to your show? Who's controlling the vibrator? It's weird. It's weird, and I love her, but that's so weird. You know who's not here for Candy and the sex stuff? Marlo. Marlo don't like that. Marlo don't like, especially from Candy. She was like, Candy always been a freak. She was like, my stuff is fashions, her stuff is sex. Marlo don't like it. She was very turned off by the invite, and I think in next week's episode, her and Candy are going to get into it because Marlo is just like, she has never been here for Candy and the sex, just ever. So on this episode, the cast go to New York to go to see Candy's show. I forgot what it's called. See Candy's show on Broadway. The Soul of a Black Man. The Power of a Black Man. It's something black man. Black man, black man, black man. That's a black king right there. What is this show called? Hold on, let me look it up. Thoughts of a Colored Man. And here's the plot. As the sun rises on a single day in the pulsing heart of Brooklyn, 7 black men are about to discover the extraordinary together. By Keenan Scott II, one of today's boldest new voices, Thoughts of a Colored Man blends spoken word, slam poetry, rhythm, and humor into a daringly universal new play. Welcome to the vibrant inner life of being black, proud, and thriving in the 21st century. Candy, why was that the invite? Why? Anyway, so they all go to New York. And again, I love what Candy is doing, right? In one episode, she's promoted her show on Broadway, Thoughts of a Colored Man, a show that I would not have known about had she not been talking about it. Because, you know, if you're not in New York, you really don't know what is the latest and freshest stuff on Broadway. I would have never known about this without Candy saying anything. Now I'm actually looking up tickets and thinking about going when I go visit my friend in New York. Anyway, not only has she promoted this show, she's also promoted Bedroom Candy. Smart, genius, do it. Anyway, so they all go to New York to see this play. They get to their hotel, and this is where I get bothered. 48th on Lex. I'm sorry. Was the Ritz overbooked? Did somebody's car decline at the Four Seasons? Why is this cast at 48th on Lex? Where's the budget, Bravo? Where's the budget? I mean, damn, y'all couldn't even got them a couple of suites at the Equinox Hotel? Like, why are they saying it's something regular? Why are they saying it's something that's like a working class 40-year-old birthday party destination? Why are they staying there? Where's the budget? Moving on, Kenya has been wearing a lot of wigs. A lot of wigs. Like every episode, she's in like multiple wigs. I'm going to go out on a limb and say, unfortunately, that I think that Kenya is probably losing her hair from stressing over that man. Because Kenya has never been a wiggy, right? And not only is she wearing a lot of wigs, she's wearing a lot of questionable wigs, right? So these look like I just need something real quick because I got a situation. It doesn't look like this is something that I do. This is something that I wear all the time. So I'm going to put time, money, and concern into this to make this look good. It's giving, I got an issue wig. It really, really is. And I just really hope that we have seen the last days of her stressing over that man. Why are we going to Todd's condo? Like, why is that a part of the trip? Candy, what is going on? Why was going to Todd's condo a part of the trip? I don't know if this was just put in there for him to advertise this condo because it seems like he's going to start Airbnb-ing it, or maybe renting it out. I'm hoping that's it because it just makes no sense that one of the events is going to see his dilapidated condo in Jersey. Why are you taking that detour from New York. You get to New York, drop your bags off, have a quick bite to eat, go see his condo, come back and get dressed and go to the play. No, they had to get dressed before that, go see the condo, and then come back and see the play. I just don't that just is not making any sense. And I will say, I understand people who are saying that the season is a bit lackluster. And here is why I think it is. I've always said it, something has got to happen with Atlanta's production because it's just not working. It's not working, and it hasn't worked since, we gotta be honest, since Carlos left, right? And I'm not hanging this show's success on Carlos. I'm just saying, whatever force he was over there, they need to get that back, or to get somebody that has that same mind and energy who knows what this show needs, because it just seems like a lot of the stuff is not making sense. It's enjoyable. I enjoy watching them, but I'm like watching this like, why are we going to Todd's condo? It just, like, it's not believable. It's not believable that you would invite your friends to come see your Broadway play and then be like, let's go all the way out to Jersey from New York City to go see my man's condo as a group. Especially with people you just met. This is not a black thing. This is not what black people do. We don't really be letting anybody over our home like that, right? So to bring essentially strangers into my home, to be looking around, making all these comments or whatever, and knowing where it is, knowing that I really don't stay there like that, like, that's a setup to get robbed. That's not something that black people do. So it just didn't make any sense to me for them to do that. I will say what makes a lot of sense is Kenya. I saw something this episode and I was like, I really hope that this is a storyline builder for her, or that she talks to her team or whoever her manager is and gets her in this kind of area, because she's really thriving. So earlier in the episode, Kenya was going back and forth, in a good way. Like, she was talking about, like, you know, contractor things with Marlo's contractor, and homegirl knew her stuff. At Todd's condo, homegirl knew her stuff. She was like, oh, we should take out this, put a wall here, this expands the room, bring the light in here. She really knew what she was doing. And I'm like, Kenya, it's giving HGTV, right? This is a way for you to expand off the show. I would say start building on that storyline of you being this builder or house flipper or whatever, because you seem to really know your stuff. Build in that way, and then when you get tired of doing this, when you get tired of fighting, because it seems like you're tired of being this villain on this show, right? Binge off into HGTV, make your wholesome house flipping shows, and be able to support you and your child off of a check that you feel proud of. After the cast goes to visit Todd's condo, they all sit down for dinner, and then I don't know who noticed, but somebody noticed that Drew wasn't wearing her ring. And Drew, this is what I say about Drew and Ralph and how they just both say things to cut each other down. Drew starts off with saying, and it seems really nice, right? She was like, oh, I stopped wearing my ring because I got too, like, when I got pregnant, I just, you know, got too big for the ring. The ring became too tight. But then she says, after I had the baby and I started losing weight, we were having problems, so I didn't put the ring back on. You really could have stopped it there and said, oh, I had my baby and, you know, my weight was fluctuating and, you know, I never just got the ring resized. That's it. That's it. But then to add in, oh, me, everybody's having dinner, having a good time. Oh, me and Ralph were having problems then, so I just didn't put it back on. Why are you volunteering that information about your marriage? Already at a table with people, or especially one person who don't take tea with you, who has been known to be a bone carrier. Why are you doing that? Who brought a friend to an event that called your husband a homosexual? So why are you volunteering that information? Unless that's not true. It's giving content storyline, keep going. Speaking of homosexual, I just needed to lead it. I needed to lead it, forgive me. Drew's assistant. First of all, I knew that he was going to be problematic when we met him. Right? I gotta be honest, it was giving stereotype. The way he was acting like, Drew's assistant was acting like a straight homophobic man's interpretation of what a gay man is. It was just too much, too over the top, and not saying that gay people, you know, can't be too much or too over the top. What I'm saying is I just felt like it was, I don't know what's a gay version of cooning, but that's what it looked like. Girl, Miss Girl. It was like, come on. This is not how you act in your day-to-day. And maybe you're just putting it a bit on because it's cameras and you want to like make such a splash, make such a splash that they'll have you on next season. But is that what you really want to portray about yourself? Like, is that really what you want to portray about not just yourself, but the community you represent? And I gotta be honest, and I have to be honest here. Black people, gay people, anybody from a marginalized community, I'm sorry. If ever you were on TV, if ever you were on any form of media, you are representing your community, period. You don't get to just be an individual. You are not white. You don't get that privilege. So when you get on camera, especially when images like you are either bastardized or non-existent at all, you have to be that one. And watching Drew's assistant, I'm like, yikes. Yikes, because as soon as we meet you, you're just acting very like, girl, yes, it's me, I'm in the room, I'm in the building, guess what? This is what my friend and my girlfriend said. So you're just coming on being like this bastardized version of a black effeminate gay man. And you're playing up to this stereotype of the gay gossiping bestie. It's just like, really? Did you look back at this and was just like, oh, I ate that? I hope not. Anyway, also with Drew, like, we are so past the point of needing either your messy gay friend or your gossiping, you know, bestie that you met who lives in the same development. We are beyond and we are past needing that kind of representation, right? Here is why. Those characters are only brought on the show to be a scapegoat for the housewives, right? So you bring these characters on the show so they say the awful things about your coworkers and cast members that you don't want to say. So you can say, oh, that's what he said. I didn't say that. Or that's what she said. I didn't say that. But you brought her on camera already knowing this information and you prodded her to make sure that this person said that so that could be out on camera about this person. What Drew did not intend was for Sheree's friend to be like, oh, you're trusting this messy assistant when they said that your husband was gay. Pause. Pause. I get what Sheree was doing because Sheree was doing the same thing with her friend that Drew was doing with her assistant. Right? Bringing this person on to say something that I can't say. Because Sheree knew if she said that she would get backlash for outing Ralph. I think she should still get that heat. Knowing that this girl was going to come on the show and say that, you should have still got that heat. Now, I'm not saying that Ralph is gay, right? I am saying if he is, wow. Or if he's bisexual, wow. Not your place to say it. Not your place to do it. Knowing that that's something that could snowball into something very dangerous, right? Suicide, murder. Am I the only one that grew up watching Jenny Jones? Remember that episode that got her show canceled? Very messy, very messy. I didn't like it. And that's why I'm just like, we don't need these characters. We don't need these characters. You all are big enough and bad enough to say it with your chest, so say it with your chest. We do not need you inviting on these messy side character day players to say the mean and awful things that you don't want to say. Say it. Find a better way to say it or don't say it at all. But please stop bringing on these side day player characters to just drop these bombs and leave. It's not the kind of mess we like and it's old, dated, and done, denied. Let's move on to something better. If you have to give me that to enhance your storyline, then your storyline is not that interesting to begin with. And now Drew's thinking about if she should part ways with her assistant or not. Part ways with your assistant just as fast as you made Ralph part ways with his 50-year-old assistant with the big behind. You know what? Let me tell you something, Ralph. When Ralph said she's 50, I wouldn't cheat with her. 50-year-olds today ain't the 50-year-olds of yesterday, buddy. So I can understand why Drew was a little concerned. Anyway, that's all I wanted to talk about with this episode. What did you guys think of this episode? Or, you know, the season thus far? Let's talk about it in the comment section below. I love you guys, and I'll see you for something else. Probably the Real Housewives of Beverly Hills, but I'll do that one tomorrow. Anyway, that's all that I can do for today. Your girl is doing her best. Your girl is doing her best. Thank you all for your patience. As soon as I'm 100%, we are back to the lives. But thank you again for showing me love here. I'll see you soon. Bye. Mwah.